What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Screen Kings. My name is Christian, and today I'm going to be reviewing for you guys the new film called Ella McCay. Is it any good? Let's dive in, y'all. So, before I share with you guys my thoughts on Ella McCay, I first want to give you guys a brief synopsis from Google, which says a 34-year-old Ella McCay becomes the governor of the state she was born and raised in. However, navigating relationships with her husband, father, and brother may just be her biggest challenge yet. Ella McCay currently sits at a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. It stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Emma Mackey as Ella McCay, and Woody Harrelson playing Ella's dad. I will say when I first saw the trailers for this film, I was definitely interested. The cast looked pretty good, and what they were putting out there in regards to the trailer seemed to be something interesting. A young woman in politics trying to deal with family dynamics. It seemed endearing. It seemed charming based on the trailer. But then the reviews started coming out, and you hear word that the movie is all over the place. It's mixed. It's not focused. And I'm sad to report that that was kind of my experience as well. I don't always agree with critics or what other people are saying about films. Like to go in and form my own thoughts and opinions. But from the little chatter that I did hear online, I would say it is pretty spot on. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't have its positives. So first out, guys, I want to share with you the positives of Ella McCay from my point of view. First off, I would say Jamie Lee Curtis is always a delight to see on screen. I love any movie that she's in. She was definitely good in that one where she won Best Supporting Actress. And I can't think of the name of it right now, but it'll definitely come to me. Everything Everywhere All at Once. She was definitely phenomenal in that. Everything she's in, she just brings an energy and a charm. And there's something about her performances and her energy that really just pull you in. She has a commanding screen presence. And even in a film like this where it's not very good and there's not much character development with her. She's just kind of Ella McCay's aunt. Every time she's on screen, she's charming. You feel engaged with her, and her presence alone just elevates any scene that she's in. And maybe that's just coming from a bias because I'm a Jamie Lee Curtis fan. But I will say when she is on screen, it definitely elevates the film, gets you engaged, and a lot of her humor, I feel, for me, worked. That's a bigger issue I'm going to get into later. But when she's on screen, when she's being funny and charming, I definitely felt more invested in what I was seeing. I will also say that I feel like Emma Mackey, who plays Ella McCay, does a very good job at allowing us to really believe that the character of Ella, that is now the governor of her state, really cares about the issues that she's fighting for. There's this one issue in particular, I won't go into too much detail if you want to watch it, but it has to do with dental hygiene in impoverished communities. And I don't know, the actress really made me believe that she cared about these issues, that she was really invested in helping the people that she cared about. So that was another positive of the film. So the two main positives of Ella McCay, I would say, is the performance and the energy and the on-screen presence by Jamie Lee Curtis playing Ella really does a good job at making you believe that the character really does care about the issues that she continues to fight for in her seat as governor. Now, unfortunately, that's pretty much all the positives I have about this film. I mean, it does run about 2 hours long. I didn't really feel the length of the film, so that could be another plus, but that's all I really have to say positive. So I'm going to switch over into some of the negatives with Ella McCay. One thing that really stood out to me about this film is that the humor is very awkward at times. Like, it's supposed to be a joke within the dialogue that lands, and it just left me feeling a bit cringy about what was doing. It's like, that feeling, like, oh, that didn't land right. Now, that's not all the humor. I'd say about 60 to 70% of the humor feels like that. Just that awkward, cringy, like, this is not hitting right, whether it's the delivery or how it's written or the setting of the scene. It just felt off. Now, there's that other 40 to 30% that felt charming, and that mostly, I believe, came from Jamie Lee Curtis and her delivery. But you get that 60, 40, 70, 30% of where the humor just feels awkward. It feels forced. And it just most of the time did not work for me. Another thing that was very apparent to me early on was that the film is dealing with very human things, dealing with trauma, dealing with relationship concerns, dealing with being a woman in politics and just politics in general and what it takes to make it as a politician and the mask you have to wear and the things that you have to do to really make it and to make it change. And these things are very real and they're very human. And what's so disappointing is if they really did a better job at commenting on these things, I really believe this could be a solid film. But the problem is they're dealing with these human things, but it feels very distant. It feels very alien in a way. Like, yes, you're talking about human things, they're dealing with human things, but it doesn't feel like it's in real life. And maybe that's because the dialogue or another issue I'll get into, which is the staging of the scenes. But there's a level of distance. Like, yes, this looks human, but it's not. It almost reminds me of AI. You look at an AI picture and yeah, that looks like people, but there's something just off about it. And that's how I felt watching Ella McCay. Like, we're dealing with real human issues here. I mean, she's struggling with some traumatic things in her life with her mom and her dad and forgiveness and all these things, which are very human experiences, but it feels off. It just feels off. And it leaves you on an emotional level distant from the film and the characters as a whole. Another big problem, and this probably feeds into the alien part of it, is that the way the dialogue is written, and I truly believe that it is how the film is written and not the actors, because it was not just one character, it was multiple characters that felt, the dialogue just felt unnatural, right? Things were being said in a certain way that just made it feel like this isn't real, like they are acting in a scene. So that was a problem. Another big problem alongside that is a lot of the scenes felt staged. And obviously, if you're familiar with film, directors stage scenes to be a certain way, but it was almost as if I could see the staging of it. Like, movements were forced, dialogue and things were forced. I can think of one scene between the former governor and Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and there was some dialogue there and the staging of the scene there that just felt very forced. And it just, I think that feeds into the alien feeling where there's just a distance created because it does not feel natural. The dialogue, the staging of the scenes does not feel natural on multiple occasions. And this doesn't run throughout the whole film, but there's definitely a couple scenes that come to mind that say, okay, this just feels off again. There's also a subplot in here with Ella McCay's husband where basically he is the perfect golden retriever boyfriend and husband up until a certain point, and then he wants to have his slice of the pie once she gets into office, and he just kind of turns on a dime, and he was very annoying, very frustrating, and every time his subplot came up when it came to Ella McCay, I was just checked out. He was just so annoying. The whole subplot wasn't fleshed out. And this feeds into another bigger issue within the film is that the film is trying to say so much about trauma, about relationships, about women in politics, about an array of different things, about forgiveness of your parents and the parent adult, child, the child as an adult and the parent relationship. I mean, it's trying to say so much. And in an attempt to do that, it says nothing at all. When I walked away from the film, I'm thinking, okay, what is this film trying to say? Is it trying to say we should forgive people or that we can heal without forgiveness or that we should never compromise on our morals, even if we lose out on the opportunities that we always wanted? It's saying a lot, and within that, it's saying nothing at all. And I really wish the film had focused more on certain things, whether that was the trauma or the relational aspects. It just doesn't work. It's very unfocused, and I think thematically, if it focused on more central ideas and fleshed them out more, we'd have a much stronger, solid film. Lastly, I think like I said before, interaction just feels staged, unnatural. Again, this is not every interaction. Especially between Ella McCay's character and her brother. It doesn't feel very stagey. There definitely seems to be some natural chemistry there, but there are other scenes between Ella McCay's brother and his quote-unquote girlfriend that feel staged. Jamie Lee Curtis and other characters, it just feels very stagey. The dialogue feels very forced, and again, it feeds into this idea that the interactions are unnatural and creates a distance between the audience member and what we're seeing on the screen. So Ella McCay, maybe a weak 4 out of 10. I definitely didn't hate the whole experience. There's definitely bits and pieces within the film that go, oh my goodness, if they had really focused on this or really focused on this aspect or really cut this out or really tightened the dialogue here, it could have definitely been a much better film and had a lot to say, but unfortunately, the finished product we got on screen was definitely not as satisfying as I would have hoped given the content and the human themes that they were dealing with. So overall, guys, Ella McCay, I'd give a 4 out of 10. Don't rush out to see this in theaters. I wouldn't even say you have to see this unless you were really interested and you could watch it at home. Wouldn't pay for it. Wait till it hits streaming. But that's my thoughts on Ella McCay. Guys, if you saw it, please let me know what you thought down in the comment section below. As always, thank you so much for watching the Screen Kings. Please make sure to give the video a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And until next time, Happy New Year and enjoy your movies. Bye-bye, guys.